Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. And yet again, I brought another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. So please hit like, hit subscribe, share out the video, let everybody know we're here. And without further ado, the other guy can't make it. So we got the pinch hitter in.
Am I the pinch hitter when I'm here 4 weeks straight? Am I the pinch hitter anymore?
Hey, listen, I think at this point I just have to just ask you to come on every week, and we'll just leave it at that.
Tom Hutchison, writer, publisher, art director, all things Big Dog Inc. It's victory weekend. Chargers took down the Cowboys.
I don't know what that means, but okay.
Four straight wins. Let me just say, the bandwagon has no seats, everybody. Stay off of it. It is not for you if you have not believed until now.
All right. Well, you let me know when you win some money. All right. What's up, Mark?
Same old, man. We over here fighting for our lives over here in Detroit too right now against the Steelers. So, I ain't jumping. I never jump on the Lions bandwagon, but still, their hometown team. So it's me, Mark Dudley, the partner of Imaginos Workshop. We do film, TV stuff. We do comics, manga. Have a lot of fun over here.
All right, cool. Jeff,
everyone, doing great. Let's see. I'm Jeff Lilly. I'm also a member of Imaginos Workshop. I am the editor-in-chief.
Yep.
Also known as Machete Jeff, sometimes, if someone doesn't like my edits. I also create webcomics. I work with Mark on several other projects that he already mentioned. And I also do a comic with Pam Bliss and Katie Hodges called The Extras. It's been running for, over 6 years now. And also do some other comics work, other webcomic work, etc. Whatever I have time for. So,
cool.
Yeah.
Who has time? Hey, everybody. Randy Zimmerman, Arrow Comics, been working in indie comics 40 years now. Current writer on The Atlantean. It's a lot of fun. Artwork by Russ Leach. The Adventures of Cull and Brule as they do the sword and sorcery thing and rid their world of shape-shifting lizard people. It's a lot of fun.
You're muted, Jeff. You're muted.
I am Jeff Haas. I don't know when I'm muted, apparently. I'm recovering from the flu, so I just want to apologize right now if I kind of seem out of it. But anyways, I'm the writer-creator of Malik Running Devil, about an angel sent by God to kill the devil and then becomes the new devil and seeks revenge. I'm also the host of the First King Stars podcast, which I think I mentioned the last time I was on the show, so still doing that. So that's me.
All right, cool. Just to let everybody know, Dee Rosario, who's one of the normal co-hosts with us, isn't able to make it tonight. So anything you have to say bad about him, please do. Just let everybody know how terrible that guy is, all right? So, even if you don't know him, just say, all right? So listen, I'm pretty sure everybody saw the show question. So the question is it obsession, desire, or ego that drives you to create? And to make comics. So which one is it, gentlemen? Right? Is it ego, desire, or obsession? Right? And I believe Jeff Haas is in the hot seat. So
all right. I kind of feel like they're all interconnected, aren't they? I mean, part of the desire is from ego, part of the desire is all part of the creation process. But there's always ego involved. If you didn't have ego, you wouldn't be trying to do this because you wouldn't think you're good enough. But all of it is some level of desire for praise from those we don't know to make us feel valuable.
All right, but the thing is what's your main driving force?
I like to go with. I like to think it's desire, not ego. But I like to think I'm going to go with desire. Hopefully.
All right, that's fair. That's cool. Randy, what are your thoughts?
I'd like to think it was desire as well. If it was ego, I'd go someplace else. Or an obsession. Well, maybe it is obsession. I don't know. I love comics, so it could be that as well. But I've told a lot of people, especially lately, that I'd rather be read than rich. So it's a desire to be read and enjoyed, entertained.
Very nice. Very cool. Mr. Lilly.
I'm going to kind of be a weasel about this. I'm going to say about 10% ego, 45% for the other two. The bit of ego, like everybody likes to have a little bit of validation for the work that they do, but most of it is just it's a combination of obsession and desire because just the drive to create that thing inside you doesn't let you rest until you get something down, and the obsession comes in when the little gerbil starts cranking in your skull and you can't sleep at 3 a.m. because you're rewriting dialogue and you're trying to scribble things in a notebook without looking, or you're trying to hit the voice recorder and piss off your wife while she's trying to sleep, things like that. That has to be the obsession part, but it's all of that, and I can't stop, and nobody else here can either. So that's why we're all here.
All right, cool. Mark.
Oh man, again, it hits on all 3 parts. The ego to not want to quit in anything, the obsession, just the love of the doing comics, and the desire to see this world that I've created come to fruition. And I'm as much of a fan of the world as I am a creator. So I think it's parts of all 3.
All right, cool. Tom, what are you thinking?
I love a show where nobody's honest. I love that. It's fantastic. We all know it's ego, guys. We all know it's ego. 100% ego. We're presenting something that has never been seen before. We want everybody to dig on it and allow us to keep making it and so on. No, I joke, but I think there is more ego to all of this than a lot of people realize in the creative sense. I'm not just saying in what we do, movies, TV, comics, like the creative sense. Like you have to have an ego to come into the space and believe you can succeed in any capacity. And then, then you go with Randy's thought process, which is I want people to read it. I'm not really concerned with making $1 million. I want people to read it and enjoy it. That's sort of the flip side of the coin is I think this is good enough. And I think you'll like reading it. Like those are the 2 things that kind of have to go together. And then the rest of it is how you make it. Your desire and your obsession. Yes, we all sit in bed at night and go, page 4, could have done that better. Whatever. We all overthink it and reset and come back to the computer again and let me do it again. But for me, it's squarely in the desire and the ego realm. I have a desire to tell these stories. Sure. That's a real thing. I mean, I wouldn't come back to the computer every day if I didn't want to tell the stories, but the ego side of it is definitely there where it's like, look, you should be reading this. I don't label Critter as the second best superhero comic book in the universe for nothing, guys. Like this that's the ego right at the top of the cover. So,
All right, cool. For myself, I consider it obsession because I don't think I don't think I would have done it as long as I have if it wasn't. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, I started a book in 1992 called Dreamweavers, right? And that monkey sat on my back for so long because we only got it to the 3rd issue, and that monkey sat on my back until 2 years ago. I said, "Screw it, I'm gonna finally do it." Scanning all the old pages, fixed them all up, re-lettered the whole thing, got them all colored up, and now they're up on Kickstarter. I mean, if that's not obsession, I don't know what is. So, and the same thing with Oswald. I mean, Oswald, I started it and I was just kept working on it, and 44 stories later, I've completed the story, but I've yet to, and now I have to just finish it with the artist, sure, right? Sure. But I've written it; it's all done on that end. But yeah, I for myself is obsession. And to Tom's point, listen, I agree with him. It is a good portion of his ego as well, because with the Oswald Chronicles, I put down the greatest mouse adventure going today. That's what it is, So, So I understand completely. Tom, you got a question?
No.
Huh?
No.
No.
I may come up with one as we go along here, but
Here we
yeah.
go. Here we go.
Yeah.
I got. Don't worry about it. I've done a lot of these shows and I got a lot of questions. Here it is. Well, it's 2025, right? We're coming to the end of it. So, what is the thing you wanted to accomplish in 2025 that you didn't get to do? So, what did you want to accomplish but didn't get to in 2025? Right. So, Randy, what are your thoughts on that?
My big thing is to get back up on the producing treadmill and to keep. I need to produce more. In my opinion, I'll be putting out a lot more things in next year than what I did this year for sure. But it's been that's really been the big thing for me. Is to the lack of not really productivity, because I've been busy. It just I haven't had anything come out enough. And it's a goal for next year. There's that monkey book I keep swearing I'm going to get back to, and there's an Anniversary collection that I wanted to have out by the end of this year, but it'll be out the second quarter of next.
Cool.
Got to start cutting more time to be more productive.
Gotcha. All right, that's fair. Jeff, Lilly, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, actually, really kind of the same idea that Randy had. I wanted to do more this year. My time got sucked into. I had 2 major home renovations that took a lot of time, and life really kind of got in the way this year. All the stuff I had to do so that I can keep producing comics. But on the other hand, we kept doing. We kept up our page a week on the extras. We still haven't broken that streak. That's good. Started another series that was good. But yeah, I'm hoping that next year things will kind of settle down. I'll just have more time to just do, sit down in the chair and write. That's really what I want to do more than anything else. So.
All right, cool. Mark, what are your thoughts?
Man, I had some health issues this year that I'm getting over right now. So
sorry about that. If you're hearing, if that's coming through the microphone, sorry. So.
I'm sorry about that. Yeah. So
I'm sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to interrupt you. So.
Oh, that's okay. I have some health issues. I got
a stepson upstairs. Apparently, the Lions had to have made a touchdown or something because he's jumping.
Oh, that's all right. I'm going to tell your stepson, big up. But yeah. So I had some health issues. I had to kind of tamp down, and I haven't gotten as much Judafist done as I really wanted to, because I wanted to get chapter 2 done before this year was out. And I'm working on the screenplay that, hopefully I can get done, at least the vomit draft before the year is out, so me and Jeff and them can kind of go through it. But beyond that, we got a lot of stuff done this year, a lot of housekeeping stuff we got done this year. So, that's about the extent of, what it is I wish I had got done.
All right, cool. Jeffrey, Haas, what are your thoughts?
Well, 2025 was rough. I had a goal to release the 3rd issue of Terminus, the NFL Terminus I was planning on, but money got in the way, so that's being pushed to the end of this year. Well, not the end, well, maybe mid this year, maybe June or July. So, yeah, so this year the goal would be to release Malik, Running Devil number 3, End of All Terminus number 3, Nightmare Patrol number 5, and get it all done hopefully in the next 6 to 8 months. So those are my goals now. Pushed back from last year, which was a year where no Kickstarters or comic books were produced.
Okay. Tom.
With my mom passing in April, the whole year went out the door for me for the most part. I had to reshuffle the schedule and just kind of see what I could even do basic in our production, which is our 15-year anniversary of the company. So everything just kind of went and went into a reset mode, and we canceled some things, and they'll be coming back next year. And but yeah, it took the whole summer. There was no productivity over the summer, so I've only just gotten back to really kind of heavy day-to-day scripting and stuff. So, but the thing that we didn't get to this year that I really wanted to, partially because we could have tied it into the Jaws 50th anniversary, was my shark book that I was doing. But it's going to be something that we haven't done before, which is like we talked about the other day, original graphic novel. It's an OGN. We were talking about that terminology with Jay.
Right.
So this is going to be an OGN, an original graphic novel. So instead of releasing, issue by issue by issue, we're just putting out a whole 100-page thing, original story in one big book. So I really kind of wanted to get that under my feet and be like, okay, how did this work? Did this campaign work? Were people interested? Do they want just floppies? Is this going to work as a book? Let me put this on the table at a con next year and see what the reaction is there. So I really wanted all of that to kind of roll into next year when we start doing our cons again. But it is what it is, and we'll just have it for next year and do our experiments then.
All right, cool. Damn, what didn't I accomplish this year? I know there's probably like 8 or 9 things. But I jokingly say that I probably didn't do enough Kickstarters this year, even though I did 11 of them. But oh yeah, there was something. Is I wanted to get one particular project completed this year, and I didn't manage to secure the artist to get that done. So I had to wait for another artist to finish with their project to put them on that project. So that project can get it done next year. So I think that's the major thing that I missed out on, is I didn't get that project done this year, but it'll get done. So, yeah. Tom, did you come up with anything?
No, I just answered your question.
Damn it. The pressure's on, Tom. All right, here's one for you guys. What extra things have you been doing to raise cash for your projects outside of Kickstarter or campaigning?
Anyone jump in or?
Oh no, Jeff, you're up.
I'm up. I mean, to be honest, really, nothing at all, really. That's one of the facets I really want to start exploring is things like Kickstarter, formal fundraising. But I haven't done it in the past, and I didn't do it last year, and it's something I'd certainly like to learn more about and how to do it effectively. So.
All right.
Yep. Was it? Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's all right. No, I heard screaming in the background. I was like, okay, somebody's tripping.
Nah.
Let's see what happened.
Yeah.
I really love my stepson's enthusiasm over his sports activities, but he does get carried away sometimes. So
Gotcha.
like I said,
He's our play for the game though, so tell him big up again.
There you go. Yeah.
So, Mark, what are your thoughts?
Working. That's all I ever do. Jeff will tell you that.
Yeah.
Work, and more work. I work that. I do work IT, and I funnel some of my savings into doing comics and producing books. That's it right now. I'm gonna start going back to Kickstarter a little more though.
Yeah, I mean now that. Oh yeah, Mark. Maybe you can tell them more about Imaginos Workshop. We incorporated this year. So.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, we incorporated this year, so we're saving.
I guess that was something fiscally responsible.
Right. We're saving our pennies and giving it to the corporation.
Yes.
Well, now you can at least write stuff off. So.
Right.
Yes,
exactly.
for sure.
Yeah. All right, cool. Jeffrey Haas.
Well, probably not too much different than a lot of people. I have a day job. I'm a special educator for junior high. So that's where most of my money is coming from and being put towards the comic book. I do publicist work on the side as well for some extra cash to put towards my comic book work as well. So basically, yeah, it's the real hustle, which I guess is the regular job, the side hustle, the publicist work, and then the side hustle, which is the Kickstarter. So
Right.
we have multiple different avenues that we're trying to make our dreams come true in, financially, which is harder now than ever before, but we're trying.
All right. Cool. Mark. Randy. Excuse me. What are your thoughts?
Remind me of the question again, please.
Oh, what extra things have you been doing to raise capital for your projects?
Got it. Well, I'm still smarting from the fiasco from a few years back. So, and on top of that, the wife and myself came to the decision to retire officially. So it's been, we thought we'd have a lot of free time, but life has gotten pretty hectic and in the way in a number of places. We have friends dying and it's just been crazy. So I really haven't been doing enough to work on any extra projects. So it's hopefully I'll be able to get more done next year on both raising money and doing projects.
All right, cool. Tom, what are you doing?
Really just normal for me. I don't do anything but comics. So it's all everything I do revolves around selling what I do. The comics that I make. I sell other stuff too. Like I buy collections and sell that as well. But everything is within the realm of making and or selling comics. So it's, our Kickstarters, generally speaking, will always pay for themselves, and that keeps us just moving on down the line each time. But then, we've got extra books here and there. We make convention exclusives when we do cons. So, we're doing cons to make some cash, raise awareness for, what we're doing. Of course, we have an eBay place. We have a web store, bigdoginc.com, and all our stuff's available there. So it's about kind of keeping active in the selling channels of places, just to kind of, maintain some awareness, for people that whether they know you or whether you're tapping, on new shoulders. I sold a whole bunch of new stuff to new people on eBay the last month. I got a whole bunch of orders, and I was like, oh, all right, this must be this guy, because it was all Critters books. So I was like, oh, this has to be this Critter buyer. And so I went to go ship it, and it was like, who the hell is this guy? So somebody new had found me somehow, and had bought a whole bunch of Critter books. So that's always awesome when it's a new name. Yeah, that's it. We just kind of keep trying to, whenever we get new stuff, make sure it's on the website, make sure eBay gets a piece, put it on our live Facebook sales, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, so that's Mark Baum, who just chimed in. Ostravaganza is the Oz festival that I get invited to every year in June. You guys always hear me talk about that.
Cool.
So that's Mark. He runs the show, the festival, but also the All Things Oz Museum in Chittenango, which is where L. Frank Baum was born. He wrote The Wizard of Oz. So they do a big Wizard of Oz festival every year, and 20,000+ people roam through for the weekend, and it's good.
Be a blast.
That's cool.
All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Nice. I mean, for myself, I've been doing the eBay thing. I've sold a very tiny portion of my collection on eBay. And what's funny is, if I've sold 20 books, I've probably purchased another 200 or 300. Right. So it's like,
Yep.
damn it, I'm doing something wrong. So, yeah. So I don't know exactly.
Always a thing.
You're supposed to be going the other way, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I have too much stuff, and it's just like I'm trying to sell some of it. It's just, but at least the things I put up is sell, so, which is good. You know what, guys? Yep. So let's do this. See, as Jay's not here, we can actually talk. Like adults.
Can we talk? Isn't that somebody's tagline? That's Joan Rivers, right? Can we talk?
Can we talk?
There you go.
No one
But-
knows who Joan Rivers is except for
I know who
Randy.
Joan Rivers is. I
know.
remember her show. I don't remember her tagline. Arsenio Hall, the hoo thing, whatever. That's the only one I remember. But I mean, tell me about your favorite project that you're working on now, right? Like, what's that? Like, what's your? All of us are working on various things, right? But what's that thing that's really pushing you, right? Like that keeps you up at night. Somebody talked about the obsessive nature of this, right? But what keeps us up at night, right? What is that thing that's really pushing you? And I want to hear a little bit about the story. Like, what is it about that story that's really driving you forward, right? Character, story, world building. What is it? So yeah, Mark, you're up.
Man,
Oh no, wait a second. Was it Mark?
was it Mark? You got another Mark?
No, I think I skipped over Jeff. Jeff Lilly, you're up.
No, I did the money one. I mean, I'll start if you want me to, but I
Oh, okay.
I did,
So
I
it's
did
Mark.
the money
All right.
answer. It is Mark's turn.
All right,
Oh,
Mark.
geez. All right. So, look, I've been working on Judafist for a long, long time. It's turned from superhero comic to sci-fi comic because I just thought it was more interesting as a sci-fi comic. It drives me, man, because again, there's a lot of things that need to be said in that space that I think I'm saying.
Mhm.
From a Detroit standpoint, from a critique of some parts of capitalism, from a critique of a lot of the craziness, that I think from a speculative fiction standpoint that the world is going to be dealing with, and taking and turning a lot of the African mythos into sci-fi to educate people, basically putting medicine in candy, for the most part, I also think that I think that I'm also a huge kung fu movie anime guy, and to really be able to put all that stuff into a different context, that blaxploitation stuff like that, I haven't seen it put into the context I'm trying to put it into. So that's what really drives me, and I think I'm having fun doing it. I was afraid for years, man. Jeff will tell you, shaking like Don Knotts, man, in terms of putting that book out because I didn't think I was ready. And when COVID hit, I had nothing but time. So it's just like, I did a page just for the heck of it, and boom, that turned into the webcomic. And I've just been doing ever since. Yep. But, I mean, again, this helped my confidence out a lot. That's definitely that. So.
All right, cool.
That's
So
right.
I mean, so you're drawing the page. Are you writing those stories first, and then illustrating them?
First, we do stuff in script format because again, we screenwriters too. So we use an ancient software called Celtex. We discovered through a friend of ours back in 2010 or whatever, 2009. And the thing with Celtex back then, Celtex has a comic template on it. Yeah, comic template, right? The new Celtex doesn't have a comic template. First, it was a desktop software. Then it went to a online software, and some of our other studio members use it. It doesn't have a comic template anymore. So we keep a copy of the old one because it still has a comic template and the screenwriting template too. So it's makes things a little easier.
All right, cool. And real quick, like, what's the overview of your story? Like, what are you doing?
Okay. Well, it's about this guy, man, that is a bioweapon from our time who wakes up in the future, finds out that he has the 3 descendants in the form of these niece and nephew that are orphaned. And when he wakes up, he finds out that the guys he was battling in our time are actually the world power behind the shadows, in this time. And they're looking for these kids, man, because they figure, hey, we couldn't turn him, we'll turn them. And it basically breaks out from something that happened like 50,000 years ago. With these aliens come here, and all the entire galaxy, whatever, got human beings in it. So one group of human beings gets ready to ascend to their next level, so they had to teach the other group of human beings.
Right.
And those human beings come to like psychic awareness and stuff at the time. So 50,000 years ago, people was becoming the psychic awareness. They believed before that, they believed in these dark gods, which were extra dimensional, like vampire type beings. And then when they became psychic, they realized that these guys were frauds, and so they kind of banished them. Right? And so when the extraterrestrials came, they usually send their wisest people, but this time they sent their smartest because they were so geeked because they were about to ascend. They didn't have time to worry about these new Earth humans or whatever, right? So they sent the wisest, they sent the smartest, but we know wisdom is important. So they didn't realize that human beings, every group of human beings is supposed to be stronger than the last one psychically. But they didn't know that. And so they went and conspired with these dark gods to shut human beings' genome down. And that's what they did. And so it's two groups. One is like three brothers are called them the Magi, and then the sisters called the Yamia who came with them. The Yamia realized what they were doing. And so in their past, the aliens' past, they had created this super weapon called the Yobi-Teru that basically they kind of went through that before too, the dark gods, and they just kicked the dark gods' butt, man, all over the galaxy, right? But it was so much destruction that they said never make another one. But in desperation, these Yamia women made another one. So that's the line from which the main character comes from, is these Yobi-Teru at the end of the day. So ultimately, it all pretty much kind of culminates in a sacrifice. He has to sacrifice himself, for us, in the future. That's basically that's the long and short of the story.
All right, cool. Now, where's that trade paperback?
I'm still working on chapter 2.
All right, fair enough. Jeff Haas, talk to me.
All right, so the project I'm working on right now is the one I'm really excited about. On the plus side, I got it. It's one of those times where I got my property back from the publisher, and now it's mine again to do what I want with it. There's something very freeing about that, where it's like, okay, it's mine to do what I want. I'm going to take any crap from any publisher. I don't have to discuss or debate, how we're going to do this. It's my comic, my story now, again. And it's the third issue of Malik, Reigning Devil. There's been 2 issues out already. There's been a prologue short story out. There's been a small series of short stories connected to it as well that have been out, but this is the 3rd issue out of a 6-issue miniseries. And I'm telling you, I'm so excited. It's because I think it's, at least my opinion, gets is where ego comes in. I feel like the writing has like this elevated writing style to it. The narrative is intelligent. The action is very hardcore in that kind of like 90s image kind of way as well, which kind of a nice mix. I think the character of Malik is interesting character where he's both, in my ways, almost sort of like an angelic John Wick, in other words, he's a character of extreme focus. So he is a little he's more introspective, I think, than Wick is on some level. But he's very focused, he's violent, he's angry as hell at his creator that he feels betrayed him. So basically the storyline in a nutshell is that he was a loyal angel of God, or one of God's wrath on earth. He was sent to hell to kill the devil, to kill Lucifer, which he does. However, the trick is once you kill the devil, you become the new devil. So by doing what he was told, he's now sentenced for the rest of his existence in hell as the new devil. And that kind of sucks. It's not fair, and he didn't ask for it. He did what he was told out of faith, and he was proven to have been, I don't know if betrayed the right word, but at the very least, he realized that he now has an eternity of suffering because of what he was told to do. So he has taken upon himself to take control of hell and basically set a war against God that's going to take him through purgatory and then eventually into heaven. And the story basically follows kind of like a Dante's Inferno, Divine Comedy kind of layers as we explore and world build the heaven, hell, and purgatory. And like I said, it's a fascinating story. It's both smart, it's action-packed. Visually, the artist is killing it. It has, I think, a nice kind of image aesthetic as well. That kind of has like this like hardcore metal kind of feel to it that matches the character. And I think it's one of the best stuff I've written, and I'm extremely excited about seeing it get completed. And all I'm looking for the Kickstarter right now, we're looking for paying for any coloring, lettering, and then printing. But the art, the pencil and inks are already complete. For the first issue, for the 3rd issue, it's 36 pages long. So yeah, I'm just super excited. I think it's going to be an intelligent look at not only theology and ideas of creation and faith versus agency and a bunch of other big ideas, and done in a way that I think is highly entertaining. That's my pitch.
How many issues?
It's going to be 6 total issues. The third issue is in purgatory. There's then going to be 2 issues that take place in heaven, and then there's going to be an epilogue that kind of rounds out the storyline, and then there's going to be one sub-comic book, which is kind of like called the Apocrypha, which is going to be kind of a 3 short stories that are combined that kind of weave into the middle of the narrative.
Gotcha. I chuckled because you said purgatory. I said, I thought you said it was done.
Like I said, the third issue is Purgatory, which is what I'm working on now, and then there'll be 2 in heaven, the epilogue.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Sounds good. Randy, what are your thoughts?
For me, it's been the Atlantean, learning to write, sword and sorcery, a lot of writing research. I think I've learned a lot more about writing in the last year than I have in the last 10. Have written 4 completed scripts and building on each one, trying to make the next one better and still not tread on a lot of the material that's been over treaded on before. It's been a very big learning experience for me, and I'm very excited to keep going on that. And then after that, it's that history of comics, Spank the Monkey book. I have to get to. It's been gnawing away at me a lot, and I just want to I'm at that point where I need to get it done, get it out.
Mm-hmm. All right,
so, and
cool.
somewhere in between there is that Anniversary collection. So,
right.
There we
go. For Hero 26. So I think I'm a writer. I'm just going to answer this question for Hero 2567. I'm a writer. I know Tom's a writer.
I'm a writer too.
Right? Jeff, you're a writer, right?
Yep.
Well, both of you.
I guess that makes me the jack of all trades, though, because I draw, write.
Right. I know Mark, and then Randy, you're also a cartoonist. You're a writer and artist.
Yeah, I used to be a jack of all trades, but thanks to my eyesight, I'm not the inker I used to be. So I still do cartoon work, though. Yeah, and write.
All right, there you go. All right, cool. So Jeff, Lilly.
Yep.
What has you?
Well, let's see. I'm still we're still working on the extras. That's been our main book. I work on that with Pam Bliss and Katie Hodges.
Yep.
It's a really interesting working arrangement. I've known Pam for over 30 years. And actually, I don't want to think about how long. It's been longer than that, actually. And she lives in Indiana, and Katie Hodges lives in Georgia. And I see Pam every once in a while. I see Katie every once in a while. But Pam and Katie have never actually met, and they've been colleagues for 6 years now. Over 6 years, they've never met each other in person. Hope to change that someday. But because there's 3 of us, we can kind of split the workload up a bit, because Pam draws and writes, Katie draws, and I write. But we've put out, over 340 consecutive pages without a break or a hiatus or missing a week, which I still can't believe myself. But so the consistency has been really great. But so we're proud of that. But the story continues. The extras, it's a school story. It's about 4 young women and a bat that might or may not be a ghost, and they all live together in a boarding school in a very, very strange city. One character is actually from our world. She's the real fish out of water. Got 2 characters who are from the setting, and the 4th character who is the really, really strange one, who her origins are really a mystery. But it's about these 4 young women, and they all meet at school. They become friends. And it's very much a slice of life, low stakes drama comedy about just going to school together. And a lot of it has been based on, the basic idea was Victorian era school stories, like from the 1890s. That's kind of informs the structure. And then, but it's a modern urban fantasy. And I taught school for 11 years, and a lot of what I experienced in that kind of goes into that as well. So it's been great fun, and we're still, like I say, we're still pumping out a page a week. And in addition to that, I started a second title called Tales from the City, and it's set in the same setting as the extras with different characters. I'm working on the first story for that right now, also putting out a page a week with J.R. Harris, who is a very talented artist from Flint. Randy, you probably know J.R. Harris,
Oh yeah,
right?
oh yeah, very much
Yeah,
so.
good.
Yep.
Yeah, yep. And yeah, he's doing fantastic work. And the second story is going to be with my friend Pevfiz, who is a very talented writer artist out in Oregon. And I have a couple more stories lined up, and that's just going to be kind of like an ongoing anthology. So it's nice to be able to sort of step back and tell different kinds of stories with different characters in the same setting and really kind of explore it. Let's see, I'm trying to think what else. Those are the two main ones. There's a bunch of other little stuff going on too. So.
All right, cool. And when are those trades coming up?
Well, let's see. What we do is basically we keep putting out pages until we have enough to put out a book. And so far we have 4 volumes.
Okay.
The fourth one came out earlier this year, and it's the thickest one yet. It's over 100 pages. And
Nice.
altogether, there's a lot. And we're hoping to, since the end of book 4 was a major cliffhanger, we're hoping to put on an omnibus edition of the first 4 volumes next, which is why I'd like to learn more about Kickstarter.
All right, cool. Yeah. Let me know. I'll probably be
Yeah.
online.
Cool.
All right. Nice.
Thank you.
I like it. Tom, what do you think? Because you got
there's really 3 series right now that I'm really kind of powering into. We have multiple series, but 2 of them have been going for a long time, and one of them we're wrapping up next year. So this year, or not this year, but next year, we have all of this, The Legend of Oz. So it's 15-year anniversary for this book next year. We'll be coming back in to do volume 7 for the series, which will put us. I'm kind of estimating that this will be roughly a 10, maybe 12 volume series, and it's done. So we're roughly halfway, maybe a little more, depending on kind of how I want to deal with it. But because we have so many series, we kind of have to take a year and focus on one, and then it gets set aside while we do another one, and then we come back to it a little bit later. So it's taken longer than when we were doing these things monthly, obviously. So next year is big focus on Oz, which, for those that don't know, it's called The Wicked West. It's a Western reimagining of The Wizard of Oz. So instead of ruby slippers, Dorothy's got ruby spurs, ruby bullets. Toto's her horse. There's Toto back there. The first book is basically an adaptation of The Wizard of Oz that we understand it. Dorothy comes to Oz, sees her friends, goes to the wizard, defeats the witch, all that kind of stuff. It does have all the Western twists that we put into it, but then it has an ending that is our own. So it allows us to keep telling the story in a way that isn't, from that point on, is not direct adaptions of the 14 bomb books. We just kind of take those books as like, okay, that exists. How do we want to use it to tell our story as we kind of move in and out of his bullet points? Search for Ozma, the battle with the Gnome King, whatever. But in those bullet points, we're telling the story in our own way, modifying the characters in our own way. The ruby bullets. All of the 4 witches have jeweled bullets. So Glinda has the sapphire. Witch of the North has diamond. Witch of the West has onyx. They all have special individual powers, and so on and so on. So we've built out a world based on Baum's world. But we've just sort of kind of put that steampunk twist into it to maintain the magic, but put the magic into sort of different format than like magic wands and things like that, like the way that we understand Oz. So that's going to be our focus for the bulk of next year, is to get volume 7 out, plus some spin-off stuff. And then in 2027, we come back, another giant stack of books, is we come back to Critter. We just finished volume 6 of Critter just in January of this year. And Critter is this is what I started with when I did comics. I didn't know how to write a comic book but I felt like I understand superheroes because that's what I grew up with. And so I was like, well, let me figure out how to write a script through a genre that I feel like I understand. And so Critter is, like it says on the back, secret identities, fantasy costumes, utility belts, guest stars. It's everything that I understood a superhero book to be, blended with, science fiction of time travel and parallel dimensions and all that kind of stuff. So so throughout the whole series, we've been kind of talking about this what has been dubbed the Critterverse. What is it? How does it work? What does it mean? And so when we got to this final volume and we kind of wrapped up this volume 6, we finally got to kind of take that final step into what the Critterverse is. What are all these parallel versions of Critter? How do they work? And so we have this parallel universe. We have like this multiverse that everybody kind of has nowadays, but our multiverse works differently than the rest because for us, spoiler alert, for us, when our two universes get too close to each other, instead of them still existing and palling around and shaking hands and saying, "Hey, everybody," you can see these two characters, they get forcibly combined. And so at the end of this book, we have a combination of the two that leads us into the next thing. So we kind of get this sense of, none of these extra characters that we've seen, like Catnip and Catgirl from Mars and so on, they're all these extra characters, but there's always going to be now this hanging sort of concept that any one of these could sort of forcibly be, combined at any point, giving us another edition of Critter, but it all kind of comes to this one focal point. It doesn't go anywhere else. She's the focal point. So anytime one of these universes collapse, it collapses on top of her, and we get a whole new result out of that. So that's kind of been something that we've been building through the whole series, and now we get to actually play with all of those concepts, and that's what we're going to start doing in Volume 7.
All right, cool. Nice. I like it. It's funny. I did something similar like that when I wrote Tenchi. So that has something to do with peaches and the residents of the universe. So
no peaches.
No peaches? Okay.
I don't know.
Story I wrote, the peaches had the same resonance as the rest of the universe.
Yeah.
So they used peaches to combine people together. But for myself, it's the Oswald Chronicles. And like Tom, I got a lot of these, and so far it's only 7 of them, but I'm looking to release another 3 this year. And the thing with Oswald is like, I've said it before. It's like I started writing this thing in the early 90s on a subway on a pseudo dare from Daphne. And it's just kind of evolved into its own thing where it went from Oswald being like a crypt keeper type character where he's just telling other characters stories, right, to a thing where it's now his story, and it's just evolved into that. And now I'm starting to move into the next phase of that, whereas I'm going from him just being a storyteller to him moving into telling his story, why he's a sorcerer, why he needs as much power as he does, why is it he needed to have this time and dream and grow, and become like an 80-year-old person in his very young person's body, right? And the other things, like why is it eventually he's going to be traveling, like Tom said, into other dimensions, doing other things and collecting a lot of energy, and what's driving him to that, right? And what's his ultimate destiny, right? Because in the end, that's what it is. It's his ultimate destiny, what's going on. And then also who were his predecessors, right? Like why, like what is the history and the germination of what he's doing, right? Was there a plan? Because there was a plan, and the plan wasn't made by him. The plan was made by somebody else. But he's a unique entity. He's a unique person. And, he throws a monkey wrench in that plan for that person because he just had one job to do, and everybody tells him, just do your job, right? But he's like, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do something different so nobody else has to suffer what I'm going through,
Sure.
right? So, and that, through that mechanism, it's driven me to write all these crazy, insane stories of the explanation of what's going on, why it's going on, all these elder gods and all this nuttiness. But it's a lot of fun, and it's stuff that, like I said, when I initially started the story was very non-linear, to say the least. I started in the middle. I was jumping around from point A to point B, and then to Z, and then to X, and back to A and B, and I was going all over the place with the story. But for the second and third half portions of the story, it's all linear, and I wrote it all like that, and I'm going to be releasing it like that. So from this point up, for very, very soon, it's going to be just in one line. But it is probably another, I don't know, 15 trade paperbacks before that happens.
Oh yeah.
So it's I still got a time to go. So all right, so let's do something a little different here.
Can I just want to say real quick, on the YouTube chat, there's a couple people who are already asking for purchase information, so we should give that to them.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hero or anybody. All of our books are on bigdoginc.com. You're not gonna be able to see that, but bigdoginc with a K.com. All of our books are available there, trade paperbacks, singles, variant covers, whatever you're looking for. So bigdoginc.com. Actually, you can see it right on my name right there. You can go right to that website and grab whatever you want.
And Lorraine, I think your comment popped up when I was talking, so I'm hoping that means that you're interested in what I was doing. I'll throw the coffee link into the chat there. So,
all right.
Let's see if I can do that. Let's see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes, please is the answer. Okay, cool. I'll put that into the chat here right now. Let's see.
Right. While you do that, I'm gonna pull up the fist, Judah fist.
Oh, okay.
Pull up the fist.
yeah, always the fist. Oh, okay.
There you go. So if you want to just talk about, well, I mean, I think you already spoke about this, but just to give a quick run through.
This is chapter 2 of Judah Fist. I've got the first couple pages up here. Chapter 1, he decides to, he works at so in the future he works at a Coney Island restaurant because he was told by CPS to stop doing his bounty hunting type stuff that he was doing, and so he has to comply because they took his kids, and now in the future CPS wants money, so he has to get it. And so he's like, I'll do one last job, and this is how he gets caught up in this job where there's a big project, the housing project, that's basically a huge drug den, and there are 2 police officers that are undercover, so he has to go in and save them and bring them out, and it kind of goes awry. And in this, he ends up meeting his future partner, Cobra Red Killer, and he ends up by the end working for this consulting group known as The Last Ones Out.
All right, cool. And what's the website is judahfist.
It's Judahfist, the comic series.com. It's on Comic Fury. I like that I like Comic Fury because it gives us a lot of latitude, in terms of being able to really put out, strong black and white stuff. And it's a strong community too.
Okay, cool. Very nice. All right, so everybody go check that out. Now I know you have plans of eventually doing a Kickstarter. What are we looking at?
Yeah, I'll be doing the Kickstarter actually when I finish chapter 3.
Gotcha.
And I'll be doing it to get the stuff colored, for the most part.
All right, cool. And then I'm going to show this real quick. And this is you and Jeffrey. Right?
So me and Jeff are doing editorial on this book. The book is called Venus Moon. And it is a reimagining of an earlier book that I worked on with a woman by the name of Erica Carter. She's a singer, and so this book is basically what you want to call it. It has some Sailor Moon type resonance, but it's obviously it's a book. It's in the future. This woman is a singer, and she's the what you want to call it, the literal universal ambassador of music. The universe runs music through her, and so she ends up battling all these different villains and whatnot who want to use her for their nefarious purposes. And at the end of the of what I call the third or fourth volume, she has to put a Cthulhu-esque creature to sleep that has been awakened by a lot of the things that has been going on in the book with her and her enemies.
All right, cool.
Oh yeah, and the music industry is dirty as heck in that time too, so she has to deal with them too.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, things. It seems nothing's changed.
Oh yeah, nothing changed for sure.
Yep.
Right. Let's see. Then cricket. Jeff.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yes. There's not a ton of it yet. This is a comic I'm working on with Katie. Katie unfortunately has not had time to work on anything much other than the extras and some of her own work. But it's it's my gentle post-apocalyptic story about this young woman who she's forced to leave home and journey to Detroit to find somebody, and it's just sort of a interesting, I think, exploration of her life in a world after basically a mysterious plague and some societal collapse. And but it's really about the process of rebuilding a community and putting the world back together again. So it's post-apocalyptic, but it's ultimately, very hopeful. So.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So when do you think she's gonna get back on that, or do you have any idea?
I'm not sure at this point. I'm not sure. I hope that she'll be able to. Basically, she's just been her day job has been really, really bad to her, and she recently completed a move, and yeah, it was a lot of stuff. It was a whole lot. So.
Gotcha. And this is the extras.
This is the extras. Yeah. Oh wow, going way back to the very beginning. Yes. So it's interesting to really go through this again, just to see like how the style has changed just a little bit and kind of evolved. But yeah. So these are the first two characters. Chantilly is the girl in the dark dress, on the left there, and then Shelby is on the right. The first two characters you meet are girls. They're both from the city, from very different kinds of backgrounds, and just getting to know each other. And then the other two characters come in a little bit later. If you want to, let's see, I don't know how far ahead you can skip. Let's see, go to archive maybe.
This is all the way to the end.
Oh, that's all the way to the end. Okay. Yeah. Go on the left there to archive. On the left. Sorry, the left-hand side of the screen. Yeah, further up. Here you go. Archive. There you go. Click on. Let's see. Click on chapter 4. Comics in this chapter. The one below it. Comics in this chapter. Yeah, right where it says comics.
Or into the night.
Yeah, into the night, and then the link below it's that's fine. That works. Yeah. So you can see things have changed a little bit. But one of the things we like to do as you advance forward, we do sort of basically pages like that. That's a drawing by Mathazel. We do pages which are the characters like interacting with the audience as themselves. So they write journals. They let's see, things like this. This is that's like Shelby drew a picture and she and Chantilly are having a conversation about it. So things like that. So you get to see the story from directly from the character's point of view. And then these pages like this, Pam is doing the art here, and I got fake newspaper clippings. We got keep going down. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, so these are the characters drawing, doing the story as themselves.
Gotcha.
And then we go back, and then Kate we go to the sequential pages, which are the the quote unquote main story.
Mm.
So it's been a lot of fun to do this kind of stuff. We switch back and forth in styles and points of view, and hopefully people can all find things that they like, because it's been a lot of fun to do.
Cool. You said you're looking to do an Omni sometime next year?
Yeah, because again, the end of book 4 is it's like a great cliffhanger, and it's really a natural stopping point for the first 4 books. But it's going to be a challenge for me. I do all the layouts and things like that for the books. That and it's going to be a real challenge to figure out. This is Shelby having a dream, so she wakes up in her dream, and Pam is drawing the dream. So, but it's going to be a real challenge to lay out a book that's going to be close to 400 pages, and it's going to be very, very, yeah. It's going to be a lot. It's going to be a real challenge for me. But
you know how to use InDesign?
I've been if anyone knows what Scribus is, I've been using the Scribus to do the page layouts, and it's sort of it's an open sourced desktop publisher.
Oh,
so,
gotcha.
So that's the 10 pages of Shelby's dream, and then we go back. Then we flip back to the main story.
All right, cool.
And this is Solomon's Fishbowl. Pam wrote this story. This is one of those stories, like, this was basically percolating in her notebooks for 5 years, and we finally got to do it, and it was a lot of fun. It's the longest single arc in the story. It's let's see, it's close to 30 pages.
Yeah,
so yeah.
All right, cool. And you said this is coming out weekly?
Yes, we've been putting out a page a week for over 6 years now. So, and we said at the end of book 4, we said, we're gonna go on hiatus and we're doing irregular updates. But as it turns out, we haven't. We've been still putting things up every week. It's been things like fan art and sketchbook pages and things like that. But we're continuing to put out stories too in the interregnum. So, book 5 is going to start. I got to finish the script for the first chapter, but it's going to start next year early. That's a book report. That's another example of the the meta thing we're doing with it, in the universe. Yeah. And I really like these pages. I really like these wordless pages that Katie put together of the girls that snuck out of the school late at night to go see Solomon in his fishbowl, which Solomon is a prophet, and they wander through the park, and Nita is the girl from our world, and she's still not quite sure what to think of all the things she encounters in the city, but she's getting the hang of it.
All right, cool. Listen, it looks like a great book. I mean, it comes out weekly, so everybody, definitely go check that one out. All right, hold on. We got a couple more here.
Yeah.
All right. The other Jeffrey, Haas.
Other Jeffrey Haas, yes. Ooh.
So what do we got here? Talk to us about Malik a little bit.
All right, Malik Reigning Devil. Like I said, that's my story. This is the third street in Purgatory. That, as you can see, is Lucifer, who he has killed. And in my world, when a demon or angel dies, they go to Purgatory. That's kind of where their version of heaven or hell is their Purgatory. And even though Malik has killed Lucifer, he is hoping that Lucifer's hatred for the god that ordered the killing is greater than his hatred for Malik, who killed him. And is basically going to ask Lucifer, because Malik does realize that Lucifer, while he was defeated by Malik, is still far more experienced and wiser with how the fight between heaven and hell could go. So he seeks out Lucifer for advice in Purgatory. And as you can see, that's Lucifer, and he's hoping that Lucifer will give him the advice on how to fight God and go to make it to heaven. Because as the biblical idea goes, that once an angel sets foot on either earth or hell or anything outside heaven, they then can no longer set foot into heaven, because they are now sullied by hell or earth. So he can't make it to heaven directly. So he is hoping that Lucifer has a workaround, and then we'll give him the advice on how to do so. So that is Malik right there. The longer he's in hell, the more he becomes transformed by the experience. So what was once appeared to be very much like an angel, he's now become warped by his experience in hell and is becoming more and more monstrous. And that's also symbolic of him as he gets obsessed with his vendetta as well. So it's all symbolic of each other. but that is what Malik looks like as the king of hell on his way into purgatory. And that down there, like that's your Lucifer, and what he appears like in purgatory, and with the helmet of Malik in the background.
All right, cool.
I think a lot of people will enjoy the helmet.
I love the light effects on the metal. That's
yeah,
really cool.
the artist Juan Almiron, he's absolutely freaking killing it. His art gets better with each page, and there are literally pages in there that I think are as good as any professional work I think I've ever seen. And the fact that he's willing to work on this project with me before he explodes is like huge deal. So like, so anyone's like, is he available? Like, no, I gotta keep him busy until I'm done because I can't have him realize how successful he will be outside of my little indie world. But his work is phenomenal. There's a few pages that are available that I've been posting on social media and Facebook, and you can see the quality of the art. But it has a beautiful quality. Like there's some image, kind of into how dark it is and kind of gritty, but there's also this just wonderful, I'm not gonna say painted, but it kind of almost looks that way in some pages. But he's extraordinary. The artwork is a big deal, and I really do think, and it's not just ego, I really do think a lot of people, giving it a chance, will really get a lot out of this comic book. I think there's a lot of big ideas there. The artwork is better than the ideas as well, to be honest. But like I said, that cover just gives you a taste of what it's going to look like on the interior. The interiors are every bit as good as the cover. It's not one of those times where the cover is like this one artist and that's really good, and then the interior is like all crap that someone like obviously paid all the money for the cover. It's a situation where the art is every bit as equal to the quality as the covers you'll see.
Cool. I got a question for you. So you had mentioned that you had gotten back the rights from a publisher.
Right.
Now, listen, we're all in this, and I know you don't want to answer this question. Who was that? No, you don't have to tell me who that damn publisher was. But, what was the situation that you were locked into? Was it obviously contractual? But I mean, what was in that contract that was holding you back?
I will say the contract was virtually a mutual agreement between both of us. For long as Malik was going to exist, it was going to be published through the publisher was 123 Go. The reason I'm going to say it out loud because the other first issues have the logo, so there's no point in hiding it. 123 Go Publishing was a small indie publisher that was doing Malik. Unfortunately, the publisher had basically quit comic books completely and decided it wasn't worth the time anymore. And unfortunately, I'm not someone who can quit on things that I start. Right. And I was lucky to get it back. It was basically just a mutual agreement where when I was as long as this was going to be published and 123 was going to keep publishing books, it was going to go through them. But the moment they decided to bail out, there's a mutual agreement that it's now mine to do what I want with it. And I decided, like I said, I can't stop. Got to keep going.
All right, sounds good. Now, when are you planning on dropping this? Is this
it's going to be released for the Kickstarter starts February 3rd, 2026. Which to me, as someone who's done publicist work, I kind of feel like once you get past November, the only next best time to try to launch is February because in between is the holidays. So kind of like the first reasonable week I can get this out there, I put it out. And I must admit, because the campaign's ready, it's killing me that not to hit the submit button and just make it like launch. And I've been like, every once in a while, I update my page and I keep looking at it. I'm like, maybe I'll just freaking do it. Let's just get it over with. But just be patient. Half of success is just patience. So I'm just going to wait till when it's more feasible, which is February, and hope that from now to February, people find the project, they follow it, which is always good for followers because it helps the algorithm. And like I said, give a indie comic book a chance that I think, like I said, a lot of people I think will get a hell of a lot of enjoyment. It's sort of kind of Spawn, kind of Dante's Inferno, Divine Comedy, some other stuff as well. And I think, like I said, a lot of people I think will be shocked by the quality of the book.
All right, cool, very nice. And I mean, and I understand that whole thing about waiting. Yeah, I don't know anything about that, so
I'm doing my best to just.
There I am.
It's only not 6 weeks away. Just 6 more weeks. Just keep my excitement to a minimum and just wait. So 6 weeks.
Yeah, my excitement purely comes from just launching that damn campaign. So.
Oh, the button's right there. It's going to happen hopefully, but I'm going to wait.
All right, cool. Tom, what are we looking at?
So this is a advanced peek for our Oz stuff for next year, guys. So we're gonna have the regular series that'll be running throughout the year, but this is our annual anthology that we do. BD 13, 14, 15 anthology. This year it's all Oz, so we changed the name to Ozthology. So it'll be 3, just like we've done before, 3 10-page stories, but it's all Oz characters this year, including 2 new ones that haven't been in the series before. Overman anew at the top and the Silver Princess at the bottom. We got some new artists involved on this as well, so I'm pretty geeked on being able to do this and expand the universe outside of just the normal run.
All right, cool.
Oh.
Very nice. I'm gonna pop these up real quick. So we'll start with Magi's Grace. Magi's Grace is one of my titles. I work with this book with C. Michael Lanning. It's currently on Kickstarter. This is a story about Magi and Grace. Magi is a monster fighter guy, and we have Grace, and she's a sorceress. And they're basically, if you ever had that, the term of your work wife or your work husband or whatever. Mm-hmm. This is what this duo is, because they have individual, wives and husbands, and they have children with other people, but they work with one another, and they work very close to one another. They care for one another. And this particular story is about Innsmouth, and Innsmouth is being invaded by vampires, and these two have been called in to clean up the mess. Right, and I have various covers of various artists like Lena Dye, L.C. Freitas, Christopher Awan, which I'm pretty sure I'm messing up his last name, Capu Max Omega. I don't know. But this is C. Michael Lanning's art, and this is with Chompy Ramirez on the colors, who always does a great job for me. And that's pretty much it, man. And that's my partner in crime right there. See, Mr. Lanning. Or I got to get back on the show at some point because I haven't seen him in a while.
Right.
And we have another 12 days left. We have 108 backers. That's pretty cool. So there you go.
Yeah.
And then of course, because I can't ever just have one. I also have the Oswald Chronicles running, right? And this particular story is What My Eyes See I Cannot Tell. So this is the story of Oswald. He's telling the story of when he was in Dream, and he was an emperor. And this particular story tells the story of when he's married, he has a wife, but it was an arranged marriage, right? He knows her, and he kind of knew her before the marriage happened. But this is a story where he actually tells the story when he fell in love with his wife, because he actually does fall in love with her, and they become very close. And this is that story, and this is the completion of it, and it's 5 issues. So this is all 5 issues currently out. These are the alternative covers, and these are some of the interior pages. So so I think there's another 18 days on this one. This is a chapbook that I have in here as well. It's called Walking Towards the Darkness. This is the final story in what I call the Star Trimmer Tales. So there's 5 of these stories. This is the 5th one. This is the final one in this story. And this tells the story of where Oswald fights an entity, and he finally discovers what's the meaning of his life. Like, why was he created? Why is he around? Why does he exist? Because he's the only mouse that can speak, right? He's the only one that has sentient thought in the world. He's not a fae, and he's not a human, obviously. So he's wondering, like, why was he created? Why is he unique? And this is a story where he actually finds out why. And that's my other partner in crime, Jade Gonzalez. So here you go. And yeah, another 17 days. So there we go. All right.
You're running 2 of these at the same time?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And you don't think that that's stealing from each of them?
No, because they're so different.
Right.
Like they're very, like, one has, I got girly covers and nudes and all that stuff, and the other one is just like completely opposite of that. It's the mouse fantasy, heavy fantasy story. No, so but there is the funniest thing is to see the crossover, because I do have fans that cross over by both.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I have fans that buy all of my stuff, and everything is polar opposite of everything else. So that's why I'm saying, like, do you think maybe you're You know,
No.
even if you're not worried about the crossover,
Mhm.
just from a purchase standpoint, like maybe they would buy 2 Oswalds, you know, if there was only Oswald, but now they're going to buy 1 from each instead
It's
of 2 from each.
possible.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I've seen it. Like I know I have fans on Magi's Grace that will only buy that.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah. Of course.
And
of
then
course.
I have Oswald fans who same thing. But I also have a group of them that it doesn't matter. They'll just buy both. It's just really weird.
Yeah,
And it doesn't matter whether
we
it's
got-
Dreamweavers or Magic Grace.
Yeah, we kind of go across the spectrum, you know, with Imaginos. You know, you got
Yeah.
the extras and you got Cricket and them, and then you got Judah Fist, and we got Siege coming out. Siege is a kind of superhero Tom Clancy-esque thriller. You know, we just got a bunch of stuff. So yeah, you know, people are gonna pick what they like for the most part, right?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, and I mean the only problem I can see with having 2 wildly different titles at the same time. The only problem I can see is if you get the 2 mixed up and then you end up with like you have a family friendly Lovecraftian horror and then you have naked mice. You know, that'd be terrible.
Well, I mean, what's funny is he is naked most of the time anyway. Oswald, he usually just has a bow tie on, so you know he's usually naked.
Oh,
on
there
the
you
cover.
go. Yeah.
So,
Hey.
Yeah.
I have the bow tie.
Yeah, I've never shied away from that. So, but all right, real quick, does anyone have a question they want to ask? No.
Give me
Think about it. Ruminate. I have about 40 questions in front of me.
Let's see.
I know
The cows really sleep standing up?
Oh, geez. Look.
No.
I just want to know if anybody, because like right now, you know, I do a lot of outreach, so I'm retooling that outreach out for this year. You know, start doing videos and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I was wondering if any of you guys have done any community outreach from a comic perspective, and how it's worked out for you.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, I think Jeff, you were next. Haas.
It depends on exactly what you mean. Like I said, I'm a special educator for a junior high school. So what I've had a few people do is Zoom in with my students, comic book writers. Sure. I think the last one I had was Jeffrey Thorne. He Zoomed in with my kids and we spoke about comic books and with all the 8th graders of the school. Right, community outreach on some level, and they get some chance for them to talk comic books. Everyone, like I said, the kids got copies of the books as well to to look at something as well. So it's helping to spread the word on comic books and get some people interested in writing and things of that nature. So again, on that level, I would say I'm doing that. And then I have others, hopefully, usually once a month, I have someone zooming with my kids.
All right, cool. Randy?
Real cool.
Not sure what you mean by outreach, but I've had a couple of clients I've done like comic book sequential work for. I used to work with a nature preserve up until the bug hit and do a comic strip nature trail for them of 12 different signs that they'd have to walk through the park and they'd be able to read an entire story. Created a team of superheroes for them that turned out to be pretty lucrative for me because the National Recreation and Parks Association got to see it and they contacted me and wanted their own set of heroes, and I got to do that for a year. But that was a lot of fun. The National Recreation and Parks Association actually won, I guess, a big award for thinking outside the box presentation for that year because they created that. They had their superhero characters running through. There was one that was there for conservation and preservation. One a pair of twins like the twins on Super Friends that were there for health and exercise. And then another character that was an older, wiser gentleman that was a social justice warrior.
Right, but you also been doing for one thing I've noticed that you've been doing too is those newspaper strips in comic form.
Yeah,
you've helped out a whole bunch of people with those strips. So
printed a lot of great folks. Had a newspaper that I circulated around my county, about 20, 25, 30 mile radius, that was comics and comic stories and interesting articles. We that was called Flint Comics and Entertainment. We went through 100 issues of that, and went right through the water crisis with it too. So
Yeah, a lot of
we lost a lot of our advertisers, and yeah, we
could do a lot with that though in terms of
struggling
putting
through.
stuff out and people, yeah. So
it was a very viable format too, and one that I would do again if I had enough enough advertisers to keep it running strong.
right.
All right, cool. Mr. Lilly, what are your thoughts?
I don't really have any thoughts on outreach per se. I mean, like I'm kind of old school. I mean, Mark and I are kind of like, we're kind of linked at the hip when it comes to doing this stuff. I mean, we like to do our conventions. We still think that going to cons, in person tabling at cons is really important. This year, one of my goals is going to be to start shifting to more indie oriented cons. Like we'll still do Motor City Con because it's our hometown con and we'll always be there. But like I've really enjoyed going to Space in Columbus. There's one I think it's called Pi in Pittsburgh that I want to try out. And of course there's all the other great indie Comic Cons that I would love to really do this year in addition to everything else. But Mark, we also hopefully we have some other con opportunities coming up with some other stuff we have in the pipeline.
We teach a big class at a lot of cons. So that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and we do this how to draw comics, how to create comics and manga seminar. We do that at a ton of different cons. It works out. It's cool. Works out pretty cool. It gets we always have a standing room only house. And we get a chance to kind of tell people how to do it. We go from drawing to writing, and again we just try to we get a chance to basically build the next generation of comic writers and artists, kind of keep the craft going. And that's really that was the gist of my question, really.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Tom.
Yeah.
No. No. At least I should say nothing that's sort of outside the box, right? Like, I mean, I've in the past I've done like a library show, and I've done like podcast stuff for schools and classes, things like that.
Sure.
But the reality is none of that stuff really translates to anything beyond that moment. At least not in my experience. The flip side of that is more like doing being available for like panels at cons.
Yeah, right.
Because now if someone actually goes and wanders into a panel, even by accident, at least they're theoretically there for some reason within that con, right? And you might have something to say that they might latch onto. Perfect example is this little con that I do is Akron Comic Con every year. I'm a guest, and I've only done a couple of panels over like 5 years, but I've always, it's not because I've never wanted to do them. It's just for whatever reason, I just never did panels. So, but this year we did panel. We only had like 4 people sitting in the panel, but all of them were like engaged. All of them then came to the booth after we were done. 2 of them have become Facebook friends, and they're, following us here. So that you can see sort of that direct connect. Now, what you're talking about though, Mark, is a little different because you're talking about generating that next generation of people, of creators and stuff like that. Totally get that. There is value in that. You always want to sort of give back,
Sure.
but that's sort of giving back versus outreach to help. I feel like there's two things. You can reach out to give back, and you can reach out to help yourself. Hey,
Sure.
We need you to follow us. We need you to buy our books. Whatever. So I think there's 2 ways to do it, and each one kind of requires a different sort of skill set, and both of them are viable for sure, 100%. It's just a matter of, like, we always kind of talk on these shows. It's always ROI, right? Return on investment, and the investment can be money, it can be time, it can be resources, whatever it is. And a lot of us, like myself specifically, I am Big Dog Inc. This is it. It starts here and it ends here, and in between are a bunch of artists that do a lot of great work. So for me, the ROI is always sort of time and what's coming back. it would be one thing for me if there was like a recurring aspect of like, hey, Tom's coming back to see what you all did on your comic projects or whatever, right? And I can give more like almost like portfolio review, like take another level. But when it's just sort of like Tom's coming in and no one's ever going to see him again, right? It's kind of like, then so what? I mean, there's probably very little that I could give to just a random group at a random time.
Our ROI comes from the fact that we meet a lot of kick-ass artists.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. That's why for me, like,
some of them are working for us. So
part of my sort of outreach, again, it's not outside the box though, right? It's like in the community. Like I will tell people at cons, like, yes, I'll do portfolio reviews. Like, come bring your work. I will talk to you about it. I'm always looking to hire people, and I'll look at your work. I'll tell you, look, you need to work on this. You need to work on this, or I'll be like, hey, you're ready. Like, let's go. Let me take you in. So a lot of our sort of outreach in that capacity, again, is very specific. It's like Comic-Con time. It's those people are there for something. I want to help them with whatever that is. I've done that many, many, many times at cons to like kind of help talk to creators in the creative space. But a lot of those creators are sort of in the space where they're ready to go, right? They're old enough to understand what you're telling them. They have some aspect of talent and or money to put into whatever it is they're doing, versus talking to like 10-year-olds who are they're just in art class, right? It's not really gonna penetrate at that point. So I just refocus what I'm talking, who I talk to make sure that it's going somewhere that there's going to be value in what I'm telling them, if that makes any sense. And then like for these shows, just as an example, for these shows, there's people online who will be like, nobody watches these shows. These shows don't mean shit. Nobody cares. I literally have an order on my website right now. And when someone makes an order, they can add a note to it. Like if they want it signed or whatever, it's just like, send a note, like whatever you need. Sure. The one that's on there right now was put in yesterday, and the note says JD Calderon's podcast with you and another creator. So clearly, this wasn't even like I was on a podcast yesterday. This was a show from like weeks ago that someone found, watched, and was like, I want that book. Let me go get that book. So these types of things, anybody who tells you that there's no value to this, let them go walk away, because there is value. There are watchers. And if nothing else, guys, there's a community being built between all of us when we do these shows. We all know each other. We're all looking out for each other. We can all help promote each other. Even if it's just an insular sort of bubble, this is outreach for all of us. And we can kind of all feed off of each other in our own stuff too. Right.
And on top of what you were saying, you'd be amazed of where just dropping those little seeds will come back and grow back at you. I know we talked about Josh Harris earlier. Last time I knew, Josh was teaching a comic book course at the Flint Institute of Arts. Yeah. And I've taught a lot of cartooning and comic book courses after school for like latchkey kids. Right. And I've had kids come back at me, years up the line at a convention. Oh, I took your class when I was a kid, and comics just took over, and that I'm here and I'm drawing, and what do you think of my stuff? And it's just amazing to see that the return is there to go out and do that outreach and to try to spread that word of comics.
That's kind of like about the obsession, what you asked for earlier. That's part of my obsession. And I want to spread this craft, man, as far as I can spread it, so.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's cool. For myself with that question, that would be this show.
Right.
That's my outreach. That's as far as it goes. Like
you and Daphne both.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, this is our outreach.
Once a week.
Come watch the show. And I don't know what question you have, but at some point we've asked it and we've answered it. So, we've asked a lot of questions. It's been a lot of
was yours.
Yeah, it's a lot of shows. You gotta go check them all out.
Back and dig, huh?
Well, Mark, if you don't mind, I'm going to flow right into my next question.
Absolutely.
Right. So, and this will go to the outreach part, right? Because this is more of a how to do things in this business type world that we're in. So, how do you guys deal with an artist who's either being difficult or has ghosted you, or who ghosts you from periods? Like they might ghost you for 3 months and then come back, hand you a few pages, ghost you, come back. You know, like how do you talk to that person, right? I work in management, right? And I deal with coworkers all the time. And I mean, look, I want to slap a chokehold on a person almost every day, right? Like just these sons of bitches, you know, come at you with, you know, every excuse. Yo, my dog is dying. You know, my mother's sick. I'm like, your mother was sick last year, or they'll tell you, you know, their mother died, and their mother died last year. Which, how many of these do you have, right? So yeah, it's just crazy. But you know, you hear every type of excuse. How do you deal with these people? How do you deal with these artists? They come up with all these crazy excuses, and how do you deal with the good ones, right? Let's start with
the good ones. The good ones you don't got to worry about.
No, I know.
They're doing their thing. Let them shut up and let them work. If they're the good ones, but if they're the flaky ones, it's 2 words. Do we know what the 2 words are, people?
Well, yeah, we don't know. Yeah,
you're fired.
Right.
That's it. I mean, here's the thing. There's only so much time that we can wait as publishers, creators, whatever you want to. You know, there's only so much time we can wait for art, wait for inks, wait for colors, wait for letters. There's only so much time. Everybody probably gets at least that second chance. If something goes wrong, we all understand life happens. So, okay, life happened. I got it. Let's finish this up and move on to the next one. Okay, great. But then like JD says, like, well, life happened again, and life happened again, and life happened again. Like, there's too much life. Even if it's real, it's too much life, my friend. Call me when you have not so much life going on so that we can and then I can bring you back, right? But if there's a real sense of just like a not caring element, like, well, you know, I went out to dinner on the weekend and you're fired. And here's the reality. This is something that I impart on people when I talk about comics, like at cons and stuff. Because they talk about like deadlines and, you know, the realities of art, because there are realities to art. And I said, look, in the comic book world is a lot like the football world, right? There's 32 teams and there's 32 starting quarterbacks. Behind each one of those quarterbacks are 50 dudes ready to take that guy's spot as soon as he goes down. So it's the same thing. As soon as an artist, an inker, a colorist, a letterer, as soon as that guy goes down, there are 50 other people behind him ready to take your job.
Sure.
So you have to treat it like that. You have to treat it like it's a job, because it is, especially if you're being paid for it. You have to treat it like it's a job. If you can't do your job, you have to communicate that to your boss. Say, look, I'm stuck. I got a problem. Your boss will work that out with you. But if you go down, if you fumble the ball, there's somebody that's going to take your job. And it's as simple as that.
All right. All right. That's now I'll give you a scenario, right? Because we all have these, right? Let's say you got a 32-page story you're working on. You got this artist, they were good all the way up till page 26. You got 6 more pages, right? And they poof on you, right? Because it happens, right? We've all heard these stories. How do you deal with that? Right? So how do you deal with that type of situation? Or have you dealt with that type of situation?
There are, yeah. I mean, when you're deep in a book, that's much harder than if you've done 5 or 6 pages, obviously. But there's 2 things. One, this is why I don't pay anybody until they've finished the job. That's it, guys. Finish your pages. I give you the money. You give me the high res. Yep. This is super easy. This is super easy because I have paid up front, or at least like half or whatever. Just to kind of get the ball rolling with new people. And 9 times out of 10, 9.5 times out of 10, it's fine. But then you find those people that are just like in the wind. So unfortunately, those guys ruin it for everybody else. Nobody gets paid up front. When you finish the job, you get paid. So that's number one. And that kind of usually helps everything out because everybody knows where you're at. He knows if he does 26 out of 32, he's not making any money. So he just wasted his time. If he's going to drop out because he didn't finish the book, there's no money for him. That's it. If that should happen, though, you just probably have to either find a way to wrap the book on that page, a little bit of rewriting, right? Mm-hmm. So instead of 32, it's 26. We'll rewrite that last page so that it's like a cliffhanger or something, if you can. Or you find somebody that's got a similar style to kind of, as close as possible. No one's exactly the same, but as close as possible so that you can finish those last 6 and put the book out. And then, maybe that new guy now is your guy and be like, hey, look, you were our pitch hitter. You came in, you did the job. Do you want the job for issue 2, issue 3, issue 4? And, you probably will have a guy at that point to be like, yeah, I'll pick up the slack.
Right.
Well, I'll leave this one open. Anybody else have any horror stories or?
Well, I've lost thousands of dollars on shady artists in my lifetime, especially early on. The one that gets me the most is a graphic novel I created called Sanctus, which was 80-something page graphic novel, and the artist on that, it was 2 different artists on that who screwed me to the tune of several $1,000s. And that's where I learned, as Tom has done, do not pay up front. And then the other one is too, it depends who the artist is. I've had an artist who I've worked on a project who's done well for me, and then things start happening on a new issue. I'm like, all right, give him, trust that guy. Things happen, but if someone who you don't have that kind of experience with, fuck them, move on. Honestly, find someone who's similar. Just go with what you're not. You're not DC and Marvel. You're not, in someone's buying your comic book and they notice a slight difference in the art after page 26, no one's going to freak the hell out. Go to someone new and just get out as quick as possible, because I have lost time and I've lost money on shady artists and I will never do it again. So I have kind of a harder line view of it from this point forward after dealing with Sanctus. And then another project after that, someone did the same thing to me. It usually happens around 7 or 8 pages. When you put towards it, they kind of feel like they have you. They kind of start waffling towards better projects if they think they have more money, stuff like that. So don't take the crap. Move on.
Jeff, you got anything? Other Jeff, Lilly.
So far, I can say that I've been lucky. The worst I've run into is delays, and a lot of these delays were like, I knew that this is a possibility going in, and or there were things that just came up. But so like my solution is kind of like try to keep as many irons in the fire as possible. So there's always something you can work on or switch to or, pull to the forefront. But for a lot of the stuff that, at the scale I'm doing stuff right now, a lot of it is very much like, get it complete, release it, and then go on to the next thing. So, but generally speaking, I've been lucky. I've never had anyone just ghost me or just like, disappear it completely, or refuse to do it or whatever. So, but Mark probably has some better stories along that line.
One in particular, you already know.
Oh yeah, I know. Yep.
So
okay, so I can't. Okay, yeah, so I can't say I wasn't directly affected, but yeah, go ahead, Mark. This is more, yeah. Since
we just recently had a situation where when we incorporated, we did our operating agreement and whatnot. We thought everything was cool, no problem. Then we had this one artist that was in our group. So at that point, she decided to jump ship. She had already finished a chunk of her work and stuff. Don't get me wrong. And so, again, as we go through, we didn't ghost her or whatever. She just jumped ship. We were like, okay, what's up? Turns out all of it was a misunderstanding. But the misunderstanding had some deep relevance. So ultimately, we was like, hey, we keep you on contract, but can't, because we going some places right now with the way that we set our corporation up. and we've done it for a reason because, like I said, we do screenwriting, we do comics and stuff like that. We move in some places in those other arenas, right?
Right.
We wanted to kind of make sure people are vested in our group, in our company, so that they could reap the benefits of whatever we did, And so for me personally, one thing Jeff and I'm gonna tell you, I'm the bleeding heart of the group. I'm gonna try to keep a door open as long as I can for you, whatever. But it's good to have Jeff and Nick as partners because a lot of times they kind of help me wake up and see the reality of what I'm dealing with, and then I gotta close the door, for the most part. But I mean, still, I still lament about the fact this young lady with us, she had a heck of an opportunity to, further herself and, to be financially secure because she's from another country. And the country she's from is not that great, But, I mean, again, can't save everybody. Unfortunately, this is what I've learned in that situation.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
That's good comment. I mean,
is that a sycophant? Oh,
that's a sycophant. Yeah. I mean, yeah. If I could jump into that question by Michael, who just popped in that question there. Yeah. I mean, a lot of times it's not even so much about your responsibility. A lot of times it really is just life hitting you in the face with a wet fish.
Sure.
And there's not much you can do about it. I mean, other times, people, especially artists. I mean, artists, we have all kinds of special baggage that we carry. A lot of people have, issues that they're dealing with, issues with, confidence and executive function, all that kind of stuff. And it can be a pretty hard road to navigate. But yeah, I mean, but that's why it's also, it can be kind of a cutthroat business. I mean, you really do have to be on the ball. Tom, your analogy with NFL quarterbacks was pretty on the money. So, yeah.
All right, cool. Randy, you have any thoughts? I don't know if you've ever had to deal with it.
Yeah, well, over the years, a little bit of everything, but I'm usually on the end of not getting any money. The last couple of jobs that I had that I hired folks out for, I paid in increments. You get 3 pages done, 5 pages done, 10 pages done. I pay you for 3, 5, or 10 pages.
Sure,
and the ones that you're worried about not completing the job, you add a little extra bonus at the end of that. Once the job is done, you get a little extra, just to make sure you get a whole or a complete job. But that would be my suggestion if that situation were to arise.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Well, and to answer Michael's question, I mean, most people are not irresponsible. I mean, I asked this question because I know a lot of other people have gone through it. I've been trying to avoid it, and I have avoided it for the most part. What's funny is there's only one artist I've experienced that ghosted me, but he completed the job, and I got the cover, and I wanted to hire him for another cover, and he was poof in the wind, gone. Can't find this guy. No matter what, his Facebook profile gone, and I was just like, "What the hell?" So, yeah, it was just kind of funny. But
he might have been, gone on the run.
Who knows? I mean, I was on the road. He completed my job. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as they complete the job, the ones that I said, the ones that I've gotten the most angry is the ones who don't complete the job. Usually, they said they'll take, usually I think I find it's kind of consistent, like around maybe 8 to 10 pages. They'll do some work to get paid. And then just enough to trust to pay them a little bit more, for the next 3 pages. And then they just then they disappear. That's the ones that, it's like, because you didn't finish the job. If you finish the job, if you can't do the next issue, then that's just how it goes. I'm not that upset. It's the ones who disappear before the job's over. And I've seen this before too. This has happened to me and a couple of clients as well, where they're like, "I'm busy. I'm not feeling well. I need a couple. It'll be another month or 2 before I can get your work done." But they forget they have social media. It's like, I'm on your social media page. You're doing other pages. I'm looking at them.
Yep.
Dude.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to be stupid, don't be that visibly stupid. You know, and those are the ones that I think get me the most angry, and the ones that do the most disservice to other artists, because it's the artists you don't trust or fail to be worth the trust that cause the other artist's ability to be trusted.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
You know, it'd be nice to trust every artist, be like, hey, I'm going to pay you.
Well,
upfront as you
and the
deserve.
flip side of that, though, is also there are publishers who fuck around and screw these artists. So these artists are looking out for themselves. Like, hey, I worked for this publisher and he never paid me, so I need you to pay me something. And I'm like, I get it, man. I totally understand where you're coming from. This is not a one-sided, discussion in the slightest. So, in that case, you just kind of have to get a sense of who they are, in your mind at that moment, and be like, all right, look, I'm going to give you half up front, and then when you're done, we'll, and maybe that works. And I've done that a few times where it's like, look, I get it. I know who you work for. I know they don't pay nobody. So I understand. Let me show you that I'm the good guy, and let me pay you, and then you'll know that we're good, and it all gets smoothed over, and then you can make new deals as you go forward.
Yeah, my point though, I do think, as I said, it's those who, I think I said, those who do not show proper etiquette in that way do cost the artists that are worthy of that etiquette and getting paid up front, as they should be, do not get those that security because of people who have burned too many bridges on that other side. And I think
but most artists also know that. I dealt with a new guy just recently who was like, yeah, it's going to be like $500 and you can pay me. And I'm like, I'm not paying you for anything. You haven't put a pencil to the thing yet. He's like, well, I need to get paid up front. I'm like, that doesn't happen here.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, it doesn't happen here. And I wasn't rude about it, and he wasn't rude about it. It was just, that's just his situation because he's been burned before. And I was like, look, this is how we're going to do this. At minimum, you have to get to a stage of the art where I'm approving what you're going to do, like through the roughs, and we'll do some edits and get the final look. And then I'll be like, all right, now, and then I'll give you half for that. And then once you finish it, I'll give you the other half. And then and then that way we both understand that you're working and I'm paying, and you're working and I'm paying. And then we'll do that, because in this situation, I really wanted to work with this guy, and it was clear that he had been burned before. So sometimes you have to wiggle, but you kind of have to take that on a case by case basis.
Yeah,
it's not every single time. And then just here's the other flip side: a different artist, same situation. He was like, yeah, I got to pay. And I'm like, I don't pay anybody up front because I've been burned by artists many times. And he was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to prove myself to you. I'm not going to take a dime until I'm finished. So some guys just are like, oh, I get it. I totally understand. Let's work together. Like they want, you can tell they want to work. And so that's fantastic. So there's always wiggle that you've got to do with this stuff. But, if once you're working with somebody, if then we run into the JD scenarios of ghosting and disappearing and late and my grandma died 3 times, then you got to make different situations.
Well, but I will say, for those artists who do the right thing, there's so much money there for. Like I said, I'll say the artists I keep working with are the ones who prove themselves, and they'll get job after job, and then they get recommendations to other people. Do you know an artist? I know this guy, this artist right here, and I like I said, they're doing well. Being responsible is actually almost a more valuable skill than the talent you're bringing to the company.
Exactly. Being professional is a more valuable skill for sure.
Yeah. And here's an add-on to that question. Have you ever had an artist try to renegotiate their pay in the middle of a project?
Yes.
Yeah.
How
did you guys deal with that?
The thing with that,
go ahead.
With us, it's weird because the artists will be doing so much good work. Like we got a person right now on the color, she's murdering this stuff, man. She was good at first, but now she's murdering this stuff. We just get to the point we be like, hey, look, we add $10 more to your we add $10 more to your take? It's like, why? I'm like, because you kicking ass. That's why.
Well, I had an artist. There's a story I did called Santa Claus. And this was an artist I was working with, and he did it once again. It was about 8 pages, which seems to be the magic number. And they're like, I really do think I need to make this much more to finish. And I think I just told the guy, "You're done." I moved on to somebody else, and I just scrapped the money because it wasn't worth it. Because somebody does that is playing games with you for who knows what, how long at that point.
Like he tried to hold you hostage or something. Basically,
that's kind of how that works. They do enough pages to get you invested, and then they come back with it. Well, there's this. Now, that's a different scenario than what I've had before, which is an artist complete one issue and go, for the next issue, I do need to make this much. It's like, well, before the issue starts, that's a fair negotiation. It's
Right.
Yeah.
and that's noble. You completed your job the first time around. This is a whole new job and it's a whole new negotiation. To me, that's a valid thing to do. I finished my job. Now I want to do this because that's at least what I feel I need or earned for the next issue. That's a different conversation. It's the ones doing it mid project that is totally immoral.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, going to the artist side of things too, they often have to deal with things that are just incredible. I like one good friend of mine is in the middle of doing this tremendously complicated 150-page graphic novel. It's a historical graphic novel, and 2 or 3 times now, the person who's trying to write it, basically I should say the person who's giving him the story, because he's actually writing it, because this person has never written a comic before. So so this friend of mine gets like 75 pages done, and then they contact me and say, "Oh, I'd like to. Can we go back and like redo the last 35 pages because I wanted to add some more stuff in here?" And it's like, no, absolutely not.
Right, exactly.
And, well, why not? Why can't you just like put it in there using your magic drawing tricks? No, I can't. So there's that, and so then of course it goes, well, then I don't know if I can pay you the rest of this money. And so it was a big horrible mess back and forth. It finally got straightened out. My artist friend was able to convince the person, basically show them how the process actually works. It's supposed to work. So that one had a happy ending. But the thing is, I know this kind of thing is happening.
Right.
It's not even necessarily even malicious. It's just like, there are so many people out there who they go into projects and they don't know, like, the writers don't know what they're doing, and or the would-be writers don't know what they're doing, because again, they've never done this stuff before. It's like some corporate thing, like, oh, let's make a comic book would be fun, I guess, whatever, historical society, whatever it is. So anyway, there's a lot out there on both sides, I know.
Sometimes you gotta learn how to manage the person that you're working for too. Because I mean, we got a situation where the person we working for is so excited, which is great that they're excited about what they're seeing. But then they want to put all the other stuff in there. It's like, oh, well, I'm putting about that person, we're gonna put them in as a character. This is like, that's cool. But luckily, we wrote the thing, we wrote it with room because we knew she was gonna be like that.
Or it's like, it's 150 pages. Oh, great. We have a contract. Great. So can you have it in a week?
Yeah.
No.
4 days?
Yeah, 4 days.
Yeah. Tom, have you ever had that situation happen to you? In the middle of a job, they were like, "Yo, man, I need an extra $20 per page."
We're gonna need to get paid a little more for this. And I said, "Well, not gonna be able to pay you." That's all I said. Not gonna be able to pay you at all. I didn't say for this. I said, I'm not going to be able to pay you. That was my response. Their response was, "Oh, never mind." So,
nice and sweet to the point, huh?
Sometimes you just kind of just drive the nail. Just drive the nail, and it sorts itself out. There's a lot of, terrible term to say to people, but there's a lot of wishy-washy, and sometimes you just have to be like, yes, no, that's it, deal with it. And most of the time, everybody will understand where everyone is once you have yes, once you have no, and it can settle itself out. Like we were saying though, like once you finish the project and you're moving on to something else, then you can say, like, look, if you want to be that guy, you can be like, look, you got to finish this. When we do the next thing, we can talk about it. You can be that guy. But if you present that wishy-washy, they could easily just come back again and be like, well, no, we need it right now. And then you've already kind of shown that you'll take a step back, and then it could just cause problems. So just be upfront. Don't be a dick. It's another thing I tell people at Comic-Cons on panels. One of the biggest things ever when you're dealing with artistic anything, especially when there's like a big team there's at least 3 or 4 people that make a comic book every time. Don't be a dick.
Yep.
You can be firm. You can be in your place, but don't be a dick about it. And then it will find a way to, work for everybody.
Watch yourself out, right?
Yeah. Because I ran into a situation where I had somebody working on something, and about 8 pages in, they were like, hey, I think, we need to have some more money for this and blah, 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 because it took X amount of time and this, that, and the other thing. And I was just like, let me think about that. I came back 2 days later and I was like, no, I'm good. Have a nice life.
Right.
You just brought up something very important though, JD.
Mm-hmm.
How people charge for comic pages. People charge for. I've heard that we've had people, even in our group, really didn't understand. They'd be like, "Oh, well, I'm charging per hour." I'm like, "Hey, homie, that ain't how it's done. That's not how it's done at all. This is per page. You can break it down any way you want to break it down, but and you got to look at what the market looks like. Right. You can't be like, I had a cat come to me, I charge this guy $300 a page, and I hate to say it, I'm like, for that? Oh no, ain't gonna be another day, right? So again, that's something that they think that they can do is charge for their hours. That's kind of
right, because it's insane. Because I'm like, Marvel isn't paying $300 a page right now.
Exactly.
Right.
You understand? I mean, Dark Horse, DC, IDW. I mean, and I'm pretty sure some of those other companies, they're paying some pretty low rates.
Listen, we could open Pandora's box right now if we want to do that. It's nightmarish for artists at some of these big publishers. I mean, nightmarish. Right down to the idea of, I won't say who the publisher is, but I know people who do this for them. It's what's called basically a spec cover, right? So they will make a cover on their own, not hired to do it. Just make it, turn it in, and say, if you want to use it, you can use it and you can pay me. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. It's just a spec script. But when those spec scripts get picked up, spec art gets picked up, they're getting between, $50, $100 for just this thing. In the meantime, they've done 4 or 5 of them to get the one that gets picked. And that's it. So it's not even like they have sort of like a regular job. Like the people that work for me, I have so many people, they can't do it every single time. But there's a lot of them that kind of know that I'm in this cycle. Like, okay, it's your turn. You're going to come through. You're going to do these 3. Okay, it's now his turn. You're going to do these 3. They kind of know how I cycle through. And depending on the different books that I do, they know whether their art style fits with what I'm doing or not. Sure. So I have everybody kind of in these cycles. But a lot of these people are trying to get into these publishers, whoever, Boom or Oni or whatever, like they're just like, here's a cover. If you want it, use it. Right. And they might do that 5 times before they get $100.
Sure. Let's say the reality is the artist, I would love to have a comic book that sells well enough that my artist could quit their day job and just be doing my art. As their livelihood. I think we all would love to have artists that can do that. A lot of them do deserve to be able to do that. Sure. I do think the economics of indie comic books state that the money is not there to make enough money to afford the next issue. Unfortunately, you cannot pay many artists of what we would call a livable wage, unfortunately, which is unfortunate. But there's not a lot of comic books that are making $70,000 to $80,000 in the course of a year to make someone live affordable, in a suburban area. You know what I'm saying? It's just not how that usually goes. And I think unfortunately, that's just the reality of indie comic books. Sure. And it's a shame, but I think
but like JD said, that's Marvel and DC too. Like the rates at those places have come way down.
Way down.
And the royalties are basically nothing now too.
Right. Yeah. And then even if they make your stuff into a movie, they're only going to give you $5,000.
They might give you a high five. Hey, thanks.
Right.
Good job, buddy. Do it again.
Yep.
Well, I think at the very least is good. I like this with my artists. I let them sell their own work. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not whatever art you do, I paid for the page. Whatever, once I get my my image, my PDF of that page, it's the original work is yours to do what you want with. Sell it for whatever you can. As much as humanly possible, that's yours now. At the very long as I have my page to make my comic book with.
There you go. John says comics is a hobby, not a profession.
Well, that's
Unfortunately.
false. That's false. It depends on how you treat it. It can be just a hobby. It can be vanity press. It can be on the side. But there are absolutely people that make a living at this. I mean, there are. I can list off examples all over the place. But most of those guys, in fairness, are at the higher levels of things. You know, guys like Scott Snyder built themselves up to be. These are professional guys, right? Brian Polito, those kind of guys. They built themselves to make this their profession. So you can make it a profession, but you have to make it your profession. You have to go all in and have a little bit of luck along the way.
Sure.
Yeah, a little bit of luck helps. All right, gentlemen, thank you so much. We made it to hour 2. You guys are awesome. I mean, look, we had a little bit more of an open conversation. I enjoyed this because normally I have Jay here and it's a little weird and awkward.
He just bogs everything down.
Exactly. Freaking dude, that guy.
But the banter is so beautiful.
Thanks for having me on. I really enjoyed my first time on this, and I hope I can come back again sometime.
Anytime, Jeff. But before we go, Jeff, please let everybody know where they can find you and your work.
Let's see. Well,
I was going to say pick a Jeff.
Yeah. Okay, so the extras you can read at the extras. There's no underscores and no hyphens. Just theextras.thecomicseries.com. The Tales from the City, which is the new spinoff, is talesfromthecity.thecomicseries.com. And let's see.
Cricket.
Oh yeah, Cricket. Yeah, so cricket.thecomicseries.com. And let's see, Mark, you can handle the Imaginos links as well.
You can buy. We got Imaginos Pluses, which are our anthology. You can buy that. You can buy that over at Indie Planet. Issues 1 through 4 is out. You can best go to Indie Planet, look for Imaginos Plus. And for Judafist, you can read it at judafistthecomicseries.com.
All right, cool. Randy, where can you find you and your work, sir?
You can find me. If you want to talk to me, I'll be over on Facebook probably. But you can find my work if you go to BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com. Just search down my name, look for the Atlantean and the Shadow Kingdom. They are available. Shadow Kingdom, in fact, is available in multiple different formats. There's a hardback version that I'm particularly fond of that got the work in color, and the original prose story that we adapted into comic form in the back of the book for comparison, so that you can see how faithful the adaptation was. Other than that, we do our crowdfunding campaigns. There are 3 Atlanteans that are currently available. The 4th one will be campaigned probably in February at fundmycomic.com. And all of our other projects will be offered over there as well. It's fundmycomic.com. Plus, I do a podcast 2 times a week, Sunday mornings, 9 a.m. and Friday mornings at 5 a.m., where we look through some great old sequential art and comics and talk about techniques and that kind of thing over at the Indie Comics Network. So check us out over there.
All right, cool. Jeffrey Haas.
All right, so a couple of things. Malik Rain Devil is on. It's available to be followed on Kickstarter right now, so the pre-launch page is up. You can also find it on Facebook under Malik Running Devil, has a Facebook page as well, and you can find me on social media everywhere. For my podcast, Traversing the Stars podcast, you can find me on YouTube. There's a lot of cool guests coming up. We have Greg Berger coming up, the voice of Grimlock, who's pretty cool. Flynn Dilley is going to be on. He's one of the writers of the Transformers movie. He'll be up. David Leisure from Empty Nest. Mark Ginther, he was Razar and Lord Zed in the Power Rangers movie, and Razar from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2 movie from back in the old 90s. So a lot of big guests coming up. So please check out Traversing the Stars and keep an eye out for the next guest. So thank you.
All right, cool. Mark, where can they find you and your work, sir?
Not me.
Yes, sir.
I just did it.
Oh, all right. Well, all right.
Yeah. Yep.
Tom.
JD, you tired.
I am sorry.
BigDogInc.com. Get your books, guys. Legend of Oz, Wicked West hits January 24th. And then the Ozthology that you guys saw will be like late March. And then we'll be doing the final issue of Goth Day will be in May. So we'll be doing the final issue of that. And then with any luck, we will have the shark book. It's only an island if you look at it from the water. In June is our goal right now. Yeah.
All right, cool. You can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those different places. This Tuesday night, I will be on Sam Vera's show. That's the Crazies. I'll be there this Tuesday. Next Friday, I guess we'll be on with Jay again. And then next Sunday, we'll be back here. Hopefully with Jay, hopefully with Tom, hopefully with some others. So that'll be a lot of fun. And I would just like to tell everybody, please remember, check out the show notes. In the show notes are links to all of these creators' works. Go check out their works. Click on those links. Buy those books. All of these creators and passionate creators are all creating great work. They all need and deserve your support. So please go buy some books. And don't forget, everybody, read more indie comics, especially ours. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.